Good morning. This is Mike Perillo. Um, this is my channel. It's The Rabbit Hole with Mike Perillo. And I'm going, if you're familiar with my channel, um, I discuss a lot of football and predictions and then aftermaths of the weeks. Um, I also, in the past, if you go on my channel, The Rabbit Hole with Mike Perillo, you will see the rest of my um, videos. Um, and just an update. Um, those who are new, if you're just browsing by, um, I lost my job after about I lost my job about 8 9 months ago. Um, after 15 years. Um, if you go on my channel, you know the Rabbit Hole with Mike Perillo. You can find it. I'm not gonna get into detail, but you know, uh, the bottom line is I screwed up, and they had no choice but to let me go. But anyway, I'm not gonna bore you with that part of it. Um, First, I'm gonna go over my if you're new here this year in 2023. I've been following certain NFL teams this year, and I'll give you a little bit of the history on why. Um, the first team is the Philadelphia Eagles because I'm from Philadelphia. The Jaguars, I follow them. I've liked them since the beginning when they first came to the league, but I really started to follow them more and following them intensely when my daughter when I found out my daughter's elementary school team was the Jaguars. I mean, it's the same logo, the same everything. So, you kind of have a, soft spot in your heart for that. And they're doing okay. They're going to win that division. Uh, the Jets, honestly, I only started to want to follow the Jets because of once they got Aaron Rodgers, I thought, hey, great. We'll just see how they do because, they're going to keep up with Miami and the Bills. And then, of course, the Patriots are, well, the evil empire is over. And, you know, that's just what I think about that. Do I credit, Belichick or Brady for their success? Honestly, Belichick has a losing record without Brady. Even when he was in his Cleveland years, head coach. So I don't really know, and I don't know who to give the success to, but honestly, I give the early success of those Patriots teams for like the last 20 plus years. The early years, um, the defense, and if it wasn't for, um, I think those defensive players on the early 2000s, 2001, 2003, like even to 2004, those defenses for the Patriots, they don't get a lot of credit because, Belichick is more of a defensive mind. Uh, Even when he was with Cleveland and with the Giants, I believe he was, yeah. So, you know what? If they fire him, let him become the defensive coach and have his son take over the head coaching job, maybe. I don't know. But anyway, that's why I'm going with the Jets because I thought Rodgers was going to be on the team because I thought, hey, we'll follow that. But now that he's not on the team, it's kind of like, okay. The Lions were following this year because um, I'm a big fan of the Lions, and I am. I'm just a football fan in general, so I got like my favorite teams that I follow, and then teams I kind of want to look at. Like I watch all football, so it doesn't really matter. But I do have teams that I pay a lot of close attention. Excuse me, a lot of attention to. Um. Anyway, back to the Lions. I was a Matthew Stafford fan back when he was with the Georgia Bulldogs. Hence how I got into the Georgia Bulldogs. A fan of them, and I've been a fan of them since. Um, and then he got drafted by the Lions, and I remember that first game he had where he was playing, I believe, the Cleveland Browns, and he got tackled, and he broke his arm. I think that was anyway. Yeah. And then they said, "Oh, the coaches were like, oh no, 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 I'm not gonna. You're not going back in." But he insisted on going back in, threw the winning touchdown. In so much pain, his team basically picked him up, put him on their shoulders, and that whole thing, and that was a great time. Uh, and of course, the one year where they went 0-16. All right, whatever. But they came on strong last year, and I thought, okay, Jared Goff, people kind of wrote him off. And then they were doing pretty good. You know, prior to the last season ending, and they were in the first game this year, Thursday night against the champions, Kansas City, and it's like, okay, you know, and again, I'm kind of hooked, so, and I think that they're gonna win that division without Aaron Rodgers on Green Bay. The other teams are the Bears and Miami. The Bears, I kind of follow because my daughter, that was the very first team she liked because of the dancing bear in my Madden game. It's strange, but you gotta support your kids. You gotta like what they like. And then I put Miami. Because I like the quarterback, I like their wide receiver in Tyreek Hill, and I think that they're just gonna run away with that division, in my opinion. In that division, it's gonna be Miami, Buffalo, and then the other two you can kind of swap because they're not really having really good years. So those Miami and Buffalo were going to come out of that division. I did predict in my previous videos my predictions for this year and who will win the divisions. Um, and then, uh, it's yeah. So that's basically what happened with that. The last couple of weeks, my record. I'm just glad I don't bet because I think last week I went four and no, we went. I went 4-4, and then the week before that I went like 1-7 with my predictions. Check them out. Uh, and this week I went. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I went 7-1. And there's another team that I've been following, and that's the Pittsburgh Steelers. Again, in my one of my latest videos, I did predict the Super Bowl. I did say Miami and Philadelphia, maybe, but I mean maybe Miami and Philadelphia in this year's Super Bowl, and then my dream Super Bowl has always been the Eagles and Pittsburgh. That could happen. That'd be great. You know that um, that battle. And I've been buying a lot more Pittsburgh gear because I like what they're doing, and I bought a couple of more of their hoodies. But in the last couple of weeks, since I've been out of a job, in the last couple of years, I've developed a lot of sports memorabilia, hoodies, jerseys, whatever. And I actually had to sell at least 90% of it. Because of financial situations, and it kind of sucks. But I did keep some, not all, obviously. But that's a story for a different day. Let's go over my picks for last week. Let's see, week 5 picks. Me and my daughter, we picked the Bears on Thursday night. They won 40-20 against Washington. We picked the Jaguars over the Bills in London. The Jaguars won 25-20. We picked Pittsburgh over Buffalo. Pittsburgh won a nail biter 17-10. And honestly, that Pittsburgh Baltimore rivalry, in my opinion, is like the biggest rivalry in sports. Both teams get up for it, but not this year. That game was kind of like iffy. I think about it like this. Say the Eagles and Dallas, or Washington and the Cowboys back in the 80s and 90s, or even say the Detroit Red Wings and the Colorado Avalanche in the late 90s, early 2000s, when they were in the same division or conference, whatever. And those bloody rivalries between those two teams. You had Osgood, you had Vernon, you had Iserman, you had, Lindstrom, you had Joe Sakic, you had Forsberg, you had Patrick Waugh. I mean, those battles were literally bloody. So, anyway, and then we picked the Lions over the Panthers, which the Lions won 42-24. Then we won at Miami over the New York Giants. Miami won 31-16. Eagles over the Rams. Eagles won 23-14. Then we won it. This is kind of a head scratcher. The Vikings over Kansas City, and Minnesota did have a chance. They've always come this close. They had numerous chances, but they shot themselves in the foot. Um, and I understand that not picking Kansas City is kind of losing me some bets. Kind of playful bets. I don't bet for money, but um, so that's fine. But the reason why I was turned off with Kansas City this year is one, they've been to what, 7 AFC championship games. They've been to 3 Super Bowls, 1, 2 in the last few years. Yes, last year they were in it with my Eagles, and that's fine. Um, so, and the other reason why I'm out on Kansas City this year, honestly, this whole Taylor Swift thing. You can take it and do whatever you want with it, but I don't, I'm not saying people can't date, but other celebrities date each other, but I don't think, the other sports like basketball, baseball, whatever, like, but they don't make a big deal of it. They just show, okay, their wife in the stands or their families, and other players' families in the stands. Oh, families. But then they get back on with the game. But with this whole Taylor Swift thing, it's like every 5 seconds, every chance they get, every stoppage of play, or every good play that Kansas City makes, or I think that Mahomes is purposely trying to give the ball to Kelsey so he can get a touchdown or a good play so they could just show her. And I'm sure that it's a business relationship, but I'm not knocking that. Or even if they are in a physical relationship, I doubt. I don't know. But I'm just that's the reason why I'm off the whole Kansas City train this year. But of course, Kansas City won 27-20 against the Vikings. And then of course, I wanted the San Francisco 49ers over the Cowboys, which did happen. San Francisco won 42-10. The Cowboys, they're all talk and no bite. I don't know. They're an up and down team. Like they did great against the Giants this year in Washington, but then they uh you know fell apart in Arizona, and then they won against the Patriots like they should have, and then they put up. Then San Francisco puts a 42 spot up on them. Like, okay, I understand it's a rivalry from the 90s, all that hype, all that hype, all that hype, all that hype, all that hype. It was great looking back at the old tapes or the old images of those rivalries. It brought me back to my childhood, which was great. Pat Summerall and John Madden calling a lot of those games. John Madden and Pat Summerall were this our generation's our generation big game, but Joe Buck and Troy Aikman are this generation's Pat Summerall and John Madden. Um, so and then the Monday night game, Las Vegas versus Green Bay. Honestly, it was kind of a pick 'em because I really didn't care. uh, so I really have nothing to say about that game. So that was last week results. I know this video is going a little long, so I'm gonna make uh Actually, I didn't do my week 6 picks this week yet, so I'm probably going to do that later today or tomorrow or Sunday before football. And I will see you then. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for your time. Thanks for listening. If you're just scrolling by on YouTube and you see my videos, hit that like button, comment if you like it, comment if you want to talk, and hit that dislike button if you know you, you don't think I'm doing a good job. Just be honest with yourself, regardless, of what the result is. I'm not doing this to be anybody else. I'm doing this for fun and doing this for me. So even if you just scroll by and say, "Oh, I've seen this guy before. I don't like his videos." Great. Just thanks for giving me you know, a follow or a like, or thanks for spotting my video. So I will see you in another video sometime this weekend to do my week 6 picks. But speaking of week 6, um division game, Kansas City and Denver. Obviously, I'm not on Kansas City's fan, wagon this year, so I went Denver and they lost big time. So I don't know what to say. Um so I'm only going to comment on games that I actually, watch, but 8 points Denver, come on. Anyway, hit like, subscribe, hit a follow button. If not, just thanks for stopping by.